Let's start with principle number one, the principle of truth. For us, that is the most important principle. As we said in the introduction, just for a quick recap, we think that it's extremely important whenever listing principles and values to put them in a hierarchy so that whenever two or more of them come into conflict, we know how to act. We don't want to be stressing out about which one we have to sacrifice. We want to know, and for us, we never want to sacrifice the truth. The reason being is that it's so fundamental to everything we do. If someone's telling you something, no matter how good it sounds, if it's untrue, it's really of no value to us. So we want to make sure we're always focusing on the truth and focusing on being honest, because that's what's fundamental, that's what we expect and want from other people, and so we should, if that's what we want from others, we should be willing to give it to them. Any organization, which we're considering a group of two or more people, runs on trust. It's only going to be successful as people are trustworthy in that organization. As soon as there is mistrust and dishonesty, the whole thing begins to collapse. We know this just in our day-to-day lives. Consider high trust relationships that you have with people versus low trust relationships you have with people. The high trust relationships, they say they're going to do something and they do it. You don't have to check up on them. You don't have to stress out between the time they say they're going to do it and the time it's supposed to be done, making sure that they're doing what they said they're going to do. You trust that person and you don't have to worry about it again. The low trust person, we are constantly following up with, we're stressing out because we're not sure if they're doing what they said they're going to do, and really, in addition to the stress, it takes more time and resources. So for an organization, if two organizations are competing, one has high trust and one has low trust, the high trust organization is going to win every single time. As an individual, if you're honest with people in your day-to-day goings, you will have a reputation as an honest person, and that will help you anytime you interact with others, right? Anytime you need to cooperate with others, having a reputation of trust is going to be very helpful, because there won't be the additional burden of people checking up on you. When you say you're going to do something, people will give you the space and freedom to accomplish what it is you say you're going to do. So we want to make sure that we're always focusing on ways that we can be honest and act with integrity and ethically. Those are words that are always thrown around and talked about a lot, but they're not often practiced. We know that truth is important because we seek it from others. We want other people to be honest with us, even if it's painful and it's maybe something that we don't want to hear, but is going to give us a more clear picture of reality and what it's really like. We value that over the comfort. We would prefer to know what the way reality actually is, as opposed to some ignorant comfort. And so we have a responsibility to be honest with other people, if that's what we expect from others. And really being honest, it involves more than just not lying. Okay, it's easy to not lie to someone, but we can still be manipulative without lying, right? We can withhold certain information and not be entirely transparent. To be transparent means that there's no confusion in the organization, that everyone's on the same page. Anytime we get an urge to not be honest with people, it's a really good indicator that we're doing somewhere along the line we went wrong. We're doing something that we shouldn't have. Otherwise, we wouldn't want to lie or be dishonest about it. I mean, think about things that you're successful in and are proud about. You don't want to lie about those. In fact, then you don't want to hide them at all. In fact, we want to tell as many people as quickly as possible. Sometimes we do just come into the room and we're boastful about it. Other times we're, a little bit more creative and we find ways to slide it into conversation. But either way, if it's something we're proud about, we're looking for ways to let people know. If it's something we're ashamed of, we're looking for ways to hide it. And so anytime we have an urge to be dishonest or to not be entirely transparent, we need to recognize that as an indicator that something went wrong and look at why that is. Why is it that we don't want to be entirely honest? And then we need to fix it, of course. And you still need to be honest with the person while you fix that. People will respect honesty more than dishonesty every single time. We know this, that's how we treat others. So the question then becomes, if we want honesty and we know others want honesty, why are we dishonest with people? We tell ourselves sometimes that it's because we don't want to involve ourselves in a situation or that we don't want to hurt someone's feelings. And while there may be some truth to that, I think the real reason is that we're just being weak. And while we say that we want to spare the other person of a difficult conversation, I think most of the times it's we want to spare ourselves from the difficult conversation. And we really want to avoid that, especially if it's within an organization or a team where we're trying to accomplish the same goal. If you see a stranger in a public place standing in line and you don't like something or you think they should do something differently, sure, maybe you tell them, maybe you don't. That's a little bit different. What we're talking about is when everyone's on the same team trying to achieve the same goal. That's a case where we need to be entirely honest with each other, and we need to have an environment where we aren't judging others for their honesty. We need to encourage it, right? We don't want to suppress honesty and make people worried to be honest because of the consequences of that. What we want to do is encourage people to be honest so that if there is an issue, we can build past it while it's still manageable. Most of the time, we don't say anything and we let the problem grow until it needs to be addressed, and it's not avoidable. The best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time to plant a tree is today. And so again, the best time is always now. It's not going to get easier on its own. That never happens. That's never the case. Problems never take care of themselves. The only way they get taken care of is when we address them. The only way we're going to address problems is if we know about them, and the only way to know about them is when everyone is being entirely honest and transparent. And so that needs to be the goal of every organization: transparency and honesty. The last thing I'm going to say about honesty is, think about it this way. Relationships you have with people you love are those that you're most honest with. The more you love a person, the more honest you're willing to be with them. And so again, the question becomes, why are we not willing to be honest? If we want the world to be a more loving place and we want to spread love through the world, the easiest way that we can do that is by being honest and spreading honesty. So for us, truth is fundamental, and the way to do that is to be honest in everything you do.